Before we dive into today's podcast, this episode is sponsored by Rebuy, an end-to-end personalization platform for Shopify and Shopify Plus stores. Now, personalizing your Shopify store isn't a nice to have, it's definitely a must. You know, did you know that over 75% of online shoppers are more inclined to buy from brands that offer a personalized shopping experience? You know, it's no surprise then that stores that embrace personalization, they see significant boosts in conversion rates and average order value and even customer lifetime value. So if you're looking for the simplest and most effective way to deliver smart, tailored experiences to your Shopify customers, look no further than Rebuy. This is a powerful platform and it has a suite of game-changing features. A few that I love. AI-powered smart search is really there to help shoppers find exactly what they need. They also have precise and well-timed product recommendations. Really, that's there to increase your cart size. And the best part, I love their smart cart. It's stunning and intelligent shopping cart experience. I would say it's market leading. It's the best. You know, and with results like this, it's clear why more than 10,000 of the fastest Shopify stores have already turned to Rebuy to wow their customers and skyrocket their sales. So don't miss out on the personalization revolution because it's happening right now. And as a special guest to eCommerce Fastlane listeners, Rebuy is offering the first 45 days absolutely free. And all you have to do is go to rebuyengine.com/fastlane. And there you can sign up and get going on this platform absolutely free.
You're listening to eCommerce Fastlane, the podcast show to help you build, manage, grow, and scale a successful and thriving company, powered by Shopify. Listen to real conversations with partners and subject matter experts as they share proven practical strategies, platforms, and the best Shopify apps to help you accelerate your business. The time is now for you to improve efficiencies, grow revenue, profit, and lifetime customer loyalty. Please welcome your host, startup founder, and strategic advisor, Steve Hutt.
Welcome back to eCommerce Fastlane. I'm your host, Steve Hutt. You know, thanks so much for joining me today. You know, there's so many podcasts out there to choose from in the direct-to-consumer and the whole marketing space. And I just massively appreciate the fact that you're taking time and listening to the show. My guest today, very interesting guest because he's been on, this is his third time. I have very, very, very few guests over the last 6 years that have been on my show 3 times. But Brett Bernstein is with us today. He owns a company called Gatsby, and it's Gatsby, Gatsby.ai. Phenomenal tool. I've been recommending this from all my 6 years at Shopify. I always recommended this piece of technology to all of the brands that I used to manage. And the exciting thing about it, and Brett's going to kind of unpack a little bit about what the tool does, and it's actually making an interesting pivot into or enhancing their platform now into a feature called list growth. And we're going to talk about that and why it's important. So, hi, Brett. Welcome back to your third recording on eCommerce Fastlane.
Wow, Steve, that's quite an intro. Thank you very much. And it's awesome to be here 3 times. I feel honored to be one of the few that have been on this many times with you.
Absolutely. It's funny. I just did a quick look. So the last time you were on the show was actually a couple of years ago in May of 22. And then prior to that in 2020. So it seems like every 2 years you're making a guest appearance. And so, and I know your platform continues to iterate year over year, and you keep adding more case studies. I did a little research kind of before recording today, and it's so interesting, some of the things you've been working on. So let's get people up to speed a bit first about Gatsby, the app from Shopify, and kind of how you're helping. Like, what's the original concept and what's it really good at today, and why people should have this connected to their store? I want to hear the initial kind of concept and what it's great at, and then we'll dig into the next part of the list growth.
Sure. So at our core, we are tracking Instagram and TikTok for merchants, and we're displaying that information for them inside of a Gatsby environment so they can see all the UGC they're tagged in. They can sort and filter, interact with their creators, their customers who are on social media. What really differentiates us in the market from pretty much anything else out there is our integrations. So the ability to go and take this data, so let's say UGC content, and sync it over to Klaviyo or Attentive or Yotpo or SendLane or Loyalty Line or Stamped or other places where you might want to increase loyalty or drive email or SMS marketing and incorporate social media data into those efforts.
So So what's great about that too is that it's just kind of a one click and it's kind of fully installed. I think that's one thing that I really love is that like you come in, and I've shown this many times. I've given screenshots and stuff to my book of merchants when I was with Shopify, and I said, hey, here's how it works. Like it really is very straightforward, and I just love the multi-step process of like someone comes to the site. There has to be some kind of a hook or an offer when they come to a website, and there's some kind of a session tracking, so we know if they're kind of a logged in experience or if you kind of know who they are or not. If they truly are anonymous, kind of never logged in, never signed up, you don't know who they are, then, this thing can pop up and saying, hey, here's the offer that we have for you today. It could be a lookbook. It could be a discount. It could be this and that. I just love the multi-step process too of when someone comes to the website and says, hey, for an email, we're offering a 15% off and thank you so much and kind of a welcome bonus. And then once that's entered in, I just love maybe the next step that says, hey, you know what? Would you like a little more discount? And like, would you like 20% off? And just enter in your phone number. And so it's so neat how there's this multi-step kind of process. And then meanwhile, and the other thing is I love is the fact that, hey, what about just like following us on social? And then, so can you walk us through kind of some of those different options that are available to people? Because I want people to think about, hey, I have known and unknown site visitors that are coming to my site. If I have Gatsby turned on, what can they expect to get out of the tool from acquiring either phone numbers, email addresses, and then some social handles?
Sure. So that's a great segue into our new piece of functionality around list growth. So while we don't, just to be very clear for listeners, there's not a way to detect somebody's social media handle just from them being on your website.
Fair enough.
If somebody knows how to do that, let me know. But I don't think that's possible.
Yeah.
Or if it's possible, we're not doing it right now. What we are doing, and it's really exciting right now for merchants, this came out April 16th when Klaviyo included this in their customer-wide newsletter as they announced this new functionality between Gatsby and Klaviyo. And the integration itself, though, actually is not just for Klaviyo. We have similar integrations with Attentive, SendLane, Yotpo, email and SMS, and others. But it's the ability to, from Instagram, collect somebody's email address or phone number directly through an Instagram DM. And then in one click, they can subscribe to your email or SMS list without leaving their DMs. So directly from Instagram, acquire a new subscriber. I just have to say how important this is for a lot of reasons. You and I were talking before recording. In fact, I was out with some friends this weekend who are in totally different industries than our core customer. They're running, he's running a business that helps people evaluate their thinking and become better leaders and more like a service that helps you understand your strengths and weaknesses and build a better business around that. And even he understands that Instagram followers, while very valuable, are also a very fragile relationship. If Meta decides to change their algorithm and the content you see on Instagram changes, well, then that relationship you have with that follower is at risk, right? They may no longer see the content you publish.
Right.
They may eventually lose touch with you as a brand. So the best way to own that relationship is to have them opt in to receive your email or SMS marketing.
Right.
This is a channel that's untapped, is the Instagram to email channel.
Yeah. This is pretty wild though. And this is hitting home for me too, because, over the last, 3 or 4 months, Google has been rolling out a lot of updates. This is more in the SEO community, just the organic reach from Google. And that Meta and others are doing the same thing. And what's happening lately is just kind of these spam updates. They've done some core updates. And so there's a few updates that are rolling right now. And a lot of, I would say, more media companies and content publishers have really been slapped hard with Google. And unfortunately, a lot of these media companies, slightly even my company, to a certain degree, really had all my eggs in kind of the basket of Google, just saying, hey, that's where the source of the bulk of my traffic is coming from organically. I don't do any paid ads. And also, and from my perspective, I'm not really building an email list and communicating directly to my customers or potential customers or listeners of the podcast. And so knowing that, I think everybody's in a very similar situation. Like, how do we do it? And so I think there's a B2B play here also, but from a B2C play, it's so interesting that you want to convert these people over, because then this is an owned media. Like, you have a direct way of communicating with your customers. So let's talk a little more about that.
Yeah, it's been incredible. It's the process of using Gatsby to accomplish this is very straightforward. The most typical use case that brands are deploying is to run a giveaway. So in many cases, brands are already running giveaways on Instagram. You don't have to do a giveaway. We have other examples I'll talk about, but it's just been the most common way. So a brand publishes an Instagram post and they say something like, DM us the word fresh to join our list and enter to win. Okay. It could be that simple. And then inside of Gatsby, they have an automation set up where when a person DMs them that keyword of fresh, Gatsby will automatically respond back to that consumer on your behalf and say, great, to finish your entry, reply with your email address or phone number. And then Gatsby is detecting that they send either their email or their phone, and it presents them with a big branded button for them to push directly in their Instagram DMs that they can opt in and confirm their subscription to your list. It's that simple.
Wow. And so is this similar to the social listening kind of tool that you have, or is this kind of working along with that? Because you mentioned, hey, if you DM a certain kind of keyword, so you've kind of set this campaign up inside Gatsby, and then since you have an API connection over to Instagram, are you listening and seeing this in the feed owned by the brand? And then is that a trigger then to kind of connect over to Klaviyo and accept the email address for the entry into that offer?
I'm so happy you brought that up because that is what ties everything together. So for the past, X number of years, we've been building Gatsby. We've had 2 conversations on your podcast already about what we've built, right?
Yep.
And this idea of syncing UGC into Klaviyo or syncing other data like, hey, does this customer follow my brand or not? Right? That's all data that Gatsby syncs into Klaviyo, and you can create segmentations and flows around this. So for example, creating a segment that says, hey, does this all the customers that don't follow us yet on Instagram, let's email them, ask them to follow us. And when they do, send them an email thanking them for that follow. Right? That's a very standard use case for Gatsby today.
Right.
What we've added is this ability to go top of funnel even higher and actually acquire new subscribers and new customers for our merchants. But that's not at the loss of everything else. So what's great is as soon as that person gives you their email address or phone number through Instagram, not only do we create a profile in Klaviyo or a SendLane or Attentive or Yotpo for them with their email or phone number, we also sync over all their Instagram insights to that Klaviyo record. And we're constantly syncing updates to that record as well. So we acquire the new subscriber for that brand, and then we update that profile whenever they follow the merchant, whenever they post UGC. If they have over 1,000 followers, we have that data in there. We have their follower count in there, right? So it's like, it's a super subscriber in a way, right? Yeah. It's a subscriber plus Instagram data is syncing into that subscriber in real time all the time.
I see. And then so then inside Klaviyo is kind of, or, a tool of choice. Then from there, that's where campaigns and slicing and dicing of the data can happen, because you're saying that you're attributing all the information that Gatsby was able to acquire through their social API connections by person. You're able to pipe that over to some kind of fields inside the Klaviyo customer record. Is that kind of the idea?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, exactly.
All right.
And one step further, just to keep the excitement going here, this has been one of those features that, we built it because we kind of needed to build it, but then it's one of the ones that brands have really grabbed hold of. Mm-hmm. And it's that we are also syncing over whichever keyword they set. So remember how I said in the example, the keyword was fresh. Right? It can be whatever word you want. Well, we are syncing into Klaviyo, Attentive, SendLane, Yotpo, et cetera, the keyword of fresh to their Klaviyo profile. So now, as soon as somebody subscribes, this is the kind of the core strategy. They go into your main newsletter list and they receive your welcome offer or whatever you want to do to convert them.
Right.
And they'll receive every future newsletter item. But you can segment off of the keyword they sent you as well. They can receive another communication. Hey, thanks for entering to win, that prize. Here's more information about that. Here's the winner. And you can continue to segment your customers based upon things like which giveaways have they entered? How many followers do they have? Do they follow us? Right.
Right.
Everything is in sync all the time. And what that does for marketing in general is actually unlocked a new use case or a new opportunity for ambassadors and influencers, which we didn't even think of in the beginning of building this, but has naturally happened. So before I go on, Steve, am I making sense so far?
Oh yeah, no, 100%. No, this is
Okay.
exciting. Yeah, because like I can see where this is going, because that's why I asked about like where's the source of truth, and it seems like marketers feel warm and fuzzy. Like once you kind of get Gatsby set up and kind of doing what it needs to do and kind of run on all cylinders, it seems if the source of truth from an outbound marketing perspective just happens to be Klaviyo, it's nice that record is completely enriched and filterable, and campaigns can be driven off it. And I just love what you're just saying about how you can just continue to follow up based on people opting into a certain program, and then showing who the winner was, number one, because you're filtering by tags and isolating this core group of people that you want to do a direct market campaign against. So this is a very loyalty generated kind of opportunity also outside of what Klaviyo is doing. Because I'm just thinking, what happens with Loyalty Lion or Stamped or these other type of, or Smile. There's so many great other tools of like, well, how do we deal with the loyalty side of the business? Maybe they didn't opt into something, but Gatsby was able to give the and anyways, I'm excited about it too, just as much as you are.
So the loyalty, let's put a pin in that, because I want to speak about loyalty as well. We have amazing loyalty applications. Our integrations with those tools is phenomenal. But I want to paint this picture what this list growth feature through DMs and through Instagram has actually unlocked for brands around ambassador and influencer marketing.
Okay.
So typically an ambassador or an influencer is rewarded or paid out commissions, sort of like the standard, or affiliates, right?
Right.
And so you're basically tracking revenue and giving them a cut on that. Well, a lot of ambassadors are not going to drive meaningful revenue. Like if you want to have a big, wide scaled ambassador program, your main KPI probably isn't and probably shouldn't be strictly revenue. You should also be able to measure things like how much visibility did they drive us? How many posts and how much content did they give us to repurpose?
Right.
So what's amazing about this new feature is because of the keywords and being able to track which subscriber was driven through which person's keyword, you can now reward ambassadors for driving you new subscribers. So when you run a giveaway, you could give every ambassador a keyword that they can share on their Instagram to their followers. And then in Gatsby and in Klaviyo, you'd be able to report on, okay, this ambassador just drove 1,000 new subscribers to our email list. This one drove 500. This one drove 1,200, right? And then you could say, hey, drive 1,000 subscribers to us and we will acknowledge and give you X, Y, Z.
I see. Yeah, that really does uncover a lot, because you're right. You can't treat each of your ambassadors kind of equally and kind of put them into a certain bucket just based on follower count. There's so many other variables that go along with it. And this is another variable that I've never really thought of. It's just like, how much are you helping with the list growth versus just reach and actual conversions, where some of these are on these kind of performance plans where they have a custom affiliate link or a custom code, and they're kind of, reporting on that and paying their ambassadors based on that, on a successful conversion. But I think there's a lot more to it now, because, from a brand's perspective, building your list has a monetary value to it.
It's revenue. It's directly tied to
revenue.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I was going to say is, we, in Gatsby, if you're using Shopify at least, we can report for the marketer how many orders, how much revenue has come through that subscriber. So we are tracking every single order that anybody who has come through your Instagram DM flow has then gone on to purchase from you.
Very interesting, because I think that's the challenge that with this cookie apocalypse and just all the the entry point of a customer making a purchase. How did you hear about us? Kind of post purchase experience, but the problem is a lot of times the affiliate or ambassador doesn't get paid, even though they were probably significantly impacted that transaction. And man, so you're suggesting that, hey, they do a campaign and you're tracking that DM and that code. It comes back through. They get an email. We like the brand continues to market to these newly subscribed, thanks to the DMs and thanks to Gatsby. Then you're able to kind of like push back and say, hey, just so you know, like you said, I got 1,000 new subscribers, and that equaled X number of business that we were able to generate on your behalf. Now, I'm not sure how you directly attribute that as far as what the revenue share is. It is a little bit second party versus kind of an instant transaction through a store or a direct link. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's a partnership between you and the ambassador, and however you guys work together by all their hard work with their followers and DMs, and then able to convert them to SMS and email subscribers into a certain kind of flow that works. You could actually probably even do a flow based on the ambassador and their size.
Exactly. You got it. You could be like, hey, we know that you follow ABC person, right? Let's just say, I don't want to give a name, but somebody's the name of the ambassador.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you follow him. Did you know he recommends these products to our customers? I mean, how cool is that?
Oh, that's amazing. Instead of being so generic, it really is. I mean, I don't want to say this personalization is kind of one-to-one marketing, but in essence, it kind of is from the DM to an email address and to an outbound campaign. And really, you can go from your top influencers down. I mean, you got to, do the 80-20 rule again about, well, where are you going to put your time and effort in, and work with your biggest, baddest, best ones you believe currently that are driving your business. Imagine what they could do with this tool now. Boom, 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 in this kind of flow, and then having a great on-branded flow that's even like co-authored outbound flows kind of once you grab an email address.
This is really cool. And what's been really amazing about this product and why I'm very, very jazzed about it is the simplicity. So you don't need to create these special flows on day one, because the people that you're acquiring through Instagram are typically being dropped directly into your core newsletter list.
Right.
So they're going to get your core flows you've already created. Just when you have time and when it's appropriate, you can create a subsequent flow for those personalizations.
Right. You know, I'd love to hear, I hope I don't put you on the spot here, but it'd be great to hear a case study or some kind of success story, because I think my listeners really, they just feel like, hey, why do I need this? Or we're seeing the benefits right now for sure, but it'd be nice to be able to say, hey, here's a brand X that did a certain thing, and they saw that this wasn't working well. They got involved with Gatsby, they executed on it, and here's some kind of the output that happened with list growth, revenue, average order value. I mean, there's a million different KPIs. So I don't know if I can put you on the spot here, but I see a lot on your website. Is there any one that kind of stands out?
Yeah. So at the time of this recording, this feature's been out for 3 weeks, right? So it's really fresh.
Right.
But even in just 3 weeks, we already have a case study, and it's a really cool story. So the company is called Lingua Franca.
Okay.
And they sell, I don't think they were handmade at one point. I'm not sure if they're still all handmade. I should look at their about page before I misquote.
Yeah.
But they make really beautiful like cashmere sweaters and other high-end fashion apparel based out of New York City.
Okay.
And they heard about us through the Klaviyo newsletter. So April 16th. And they reached out to us and they signed up for Gatsby really quickly after we had our conversation. And then the next night, or that night, Taylor Swift dropped her new album, right?
Right.
And Lingua Franca, I got to give it to them. They're really innovative marketers. They move quickly. And the following day, or I think it was the following day, they already had created a line of products using the tortured poet sort of verbiage, sort of like in honor of this newsletter, in honor of the new album.
Right.
And they posted a giveaway. So within 2 days of signing up for Gatsby, they had already created this marketing, like very time sensitive marketing strategy where they produced new product, and then they went and they announced it on Instagram in a post saying, hey, everybody who loves Taylor Swift, check this out. To enter to win everything you see in this Instagram post, simply DM us the word poet, P-O-E-T,
right,
and join our email list. They launched that, and within less than a week, they had over 1,000 people complete that opt-in and join their email list for a chance to win.
Wow.
That giveaway item.
That is amazing.
So they converted, you can look at their Instagram, they have over 100,000 Instagram followers.
Yeah.
So this is one giveaway in less than a week. They converted, let's just say 1% from one giveaway. And just imagine doing these monthly or bi-weekly, or collaborating with other brands to get net new people who don't already know your brand, or doing ads on Instagram to announce your giveaway more broadly and acquire net new folks. So the opportunity is really, it's very exciting. And you could see how simple it was that they set it up so quickly.
Yeah, I'm following along. Actually, I'll make sure I put this in the show notes and stuff to show step by step kind of what's happened along the way. And it is really interesting. And so they've kind of piggybacked off a little bit of the notoriety of Taylor's new record and her concert tour that continues on now for year 3. But it's pretty amazing. It's pretty cool what's happened here. So someone I can see the demo here where someone DM'd the brand directly, Poet, and it says, yay, to finish your entry, reply with your email address to join our list. So they put that in there, boom, and it says, great, now you're signed up for that. And then now you're on the list and it starts to flow from there. Really, I agree with you on the simplicity side of it.
Yeah. And we have other examples too that we can definitely speak to. There's another brand I want to give a shout out to that's I mentioned the earlier part of this podcast in other ways besides giveaways. So Bailey's CBD oil for pets. They do giveaways. They're going to do a giveaway very, very soon. But while they figure out their giveaway strategy, they went and they added a line to their bio that says, DM us, I think it's the word CBD, for a special discount. So it's an evergreen strategy that lives always on their bio. And while they don't get the same pointed amount of engagement on that, in a 6-day period, it's just always up there, grabbing people who are active on Instagram on their Instagram and getting them into the email list.
That's very cool. I noticed one more here, and while we're on this, I just love these stories. It's so cool, kind of what you're doing here. So there's one founder here that said that they were using ManyChat, but they're having some challenges, or they're trying to figure out the whole Klaviyo integration, And so what happened with this brand? I think it's Dinah from Little Trouble is their brand.
Yeah. So I love this brand. This also is a relatively new customer for us, and they sell some of the most adorable kids products. I end up spending all of our money on
I bet.
our clients.
I'm looking now.
Yeah, it's adorable.
Yeah,
really, really cool products for clothing for kids.
Yeah.
So ManyChat is a very big company for DM, or really for social media automations. And I talked to a lot of clients now about this, and I've looked at a lot of research. There seems to be some type of Klaviyo integration to ManyChat, but from everything I can tell, it's very outdated. And what I learned from clients, most of them can't use it or don't use it because it's not effective, and it doesn't actually subscribe them to the list.
Oh.
The only thing I've heard about is maybe using Zapier, but still there's not that subscription.
Yeah.
So if you add somebody to a list in Klaviyo, it's not the same as subscribing them, officially getting that opt-in record.
Right.
So our integration with Klaviyo does that. We actually are hitting this set of APIs on Klaviyo to convert them into a subscriber. So we are having brands that use us for this feature. They may use ManyChat for some other bots and things, but they really need us and want us for this particular functionality.
Right.
And so that's what they said in that quote. They said, this is so fun. We use ManyChat too, but they don't offer any kind of Klaviyo integration like this. Gatsby's new DM feature is allowing us to get more value out of our active Instagram community by turning those followers into SMS subscribers. I can't ask for anything else.
Yeah, this is lovely. So what do you think some of the next steps are? So if Shopify store says, hey, a brand founder says, hey, yeah, I want to give Gatsby a whirl. I see the value in it. Let's talk about pricing, and let's talk about what can a brand expect when they go to the app store and down. And by the way, you have you have a perfect rating of 5-star reviews, and you've been launching the app store since 2017. So kudos to you that you're clearly solving a lot of great problems, because it's very rare to see a brand with that many reviews at 5 stars. So you clearly are there to help people, and it's very impactful, or they wouldn't have these 5-star reviews. So kudos to you and your team. But what are some of the next steps when someone says yes, then they go and they find it and they add it to their store? What's the onboarding process look like?
Yeah, so we've done a lot of effort this past year in preparation for the April launch to give our clients more self-service resources right away.
Okay, perfect.
So as soon as you create a Gatsby account, you're going to see a little checklist in the app to get yourself set up. Basically, step 1 is you connect Instagram to Gatsby. Takes 30 seconds. You just go through a connection process. Step 2 is you pick your plan. We've also updated our pricing model to make it more approachable and accessible for lots and lots of more merchants. So with this new product for list growth, our market got a lot bigger.
Right.
Prior to this feature, we were really focusing on large clients that needed large scale ambassador programs. Now we have a functionality that can service, as we talked about earlier in this episode, like brands of all sizes, shapes, industries, etc. So our pricing model is much more akin to one you might see from a Klaviyo, where it starts quite low. And as you grow your community or your list through Gatsby, you have more contacts, social contacts, as we call them, Instagram users that are syncing to Klaviyo and SendLane and Incentive, etc. You just naturally are going to be paying us more as your growth continues.
Right.
So it's very easy to get started, prove the value, and grow with us.
Yeah.
Once you pick your plan,
Yep.
then you just create your auto reply. So no joke, 30 minutes from start to finish as far as getting the integration between Instagram, your email system, and a DM automation up and running.
Wow. And then I'm seeing you have all the discount features available, like everything from bulk discounts and coupons, and you have flat discounting options. So basically you have some best practices set up. So whatever your current business model is as a brand, and saying, hey, like we see the benefits in this kind of DMs to email and building my list, and it's very clear that's something that people need to do. And so these offers and some recommendations are there, and it seems to be very straightforward from step one through to kind of fully launched.
Yeah, the coupon code feature you're referring to is our Shopify coupon code builder.
Okay.
That's if you want to give those people, like let's say ambassadors, a code that they can share with their followers, and you can track those referral sales.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. But I still like, the idea we've spoken about having a custom word for an ambassador and then seeing that convert to an email address. And then over time, the drip sequence that happens with that list and those codes owned by that ambassador to then pay out your ambassador based on the assistance of building the list. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, we could basically track keywords or coupon codes for that ambassador. So if you want to track both or one or the other, both those are available to our clients.
Okay, cool. All right. So what do you think some of our next steps are? So those listening today, they're saying, hey, I like Gatsby. Now I really know about it. I want this list growth opportunity. I don't want to be, there's benefits in growing your list because you want to nurture your customer for time. A lot of times, we always heard about the conversion rate, let's say you convert 2% of your website visitors, and maybe you opt in 5 or 6 or 10%. 10% is kind of high. It's higher with you because it's DMs and it's a little more, and then with an offer and stuff. So obviously your opt-in rate is going to be significantly higher than kind of regular kind of opt-in tools and things. But what do you think kind of the next steps are if a brand wants to get involved, regardless of their size? I guess that kind of pass the baton back to you. What do you want as our next steps?
Yeah. So go to our website, gatsby.ai. Or if you use Klaviyo, go to gatsby.ai/Klaviyo. Or if you use Attentive or SendLane or Yahoo, we have landing pages for all of them.
Okay.
I think like Attentive, it's attentive-list-growth, but you'll see the link on our website.
Okay.
And go just check out the product. There's plenty of links on there available for you to book a demo with our team. I would love to, it's been so much fun demoing this. I pretty much go on a call with a new client or prospect and I say, hey, here's a recent client of ours. Here's their giveaway. Enter to win their giveaway and see what happens. And it's like magic. Like it's so fun to see the eyes light up as I walk people through this new opportunity and this new process.
Yeah.
So we can go on a demo. I can answer any questions or whatnot, or just sign up for Gatsby and you'll see a lot of resources and you can chat us in the app and our team can get back to you. Mm-hmm. So really just there's a free trial, 7-day free trial out of the box.
Right.
For this. So you can try it out really quickly within 30 minutes and have a whole week to see kind of the growth.
Yeah.
Or you can book a demo with us to walk through it together.
Okay, perfect. All right, we'll have all of these in the show notes, and also there'll be a special link I'll have to eCommerce Fastlane /Gatsby, and that will go to a landing page that will show all these different offers and things that are available, a link to the Shopify app, and it's just amazing. I thank you so much for coming on the show today. I can see your excitement, and I'm excited about it too because I like I said, I'm in the B2B space. So I'm a little bit different than those listening today, where you really really do have to grow your list. You do have to grow, and SMS obviously has the best open rate, and I'd argue the best conversion rate too, because it's so personal. And so you have all that option. You have existing tools that you're already using. Gatsby just plays nicely. That's what I love. And you've been doing this for a really long time. We didn't really get into the whole checkout extensions thing. Even those that are on the plus side of the business, and you're running a Shopify Plus store, upwards of 5 to 10 million in revenue. Now Gatsby works with checkout extensions. And so do you want to quickly talk about that before we go?
Yeah. So really quickly, the thank you page on Shopify extensions or the Shopify 2.0 themes, you can now with like one click add a Gatsby thank you or a Gatsby form to your thank you page to collect Instagram handle and TikTok handle from customers after they check out really, really quickly. You could do it before, but it was like with the Klaviyo form, there was a little bit more going on. Now it's like natively built into the Shopify extension. So it's very quick and easy to ask for those handles right after checkout.
Yeah. And this thing there, people's defenses are really down too on the thank you page, because that eventually turns into your order tracking page. And so they've already kind of made that emotional decision. And it seems like a pretty easy ask and an easy lift to have that available for Plus, to be able to, add your DMs for whatever reasons. There's lots of other marketing opportunities in the future, and maybe they turn into a brand ambassador down the road. So yeah, this is lovely. Yeah. This is really, 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 really eye-opening. I'm so glad I had you on today, and just continue doing what you're doing. You're clearly making a lot of impact in the Shopify world. And at the end of the day, you're building the list, both SMS and email. And I think this is really exciting for revenue growth and just expansion of a brand. So thank you so much again for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Steve. 3 times. I'm honored. Thanks again.
I love it. I'll see you in a year.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.
Well, that's it for today's episode. I'd like to thank you personally for being a loyal listener of eCommerce Fastlane. It's my hope that this podcast is offering you a ton of value through growth strategies, tactics, and exclusive insider tips on the best Shopify apps and marketing platforms, all with my personal goal to help you build, manage, grow, and scale a successful and thriving company powered by Shopify. Thanks for investing some time today and listening to the show. I'm so proud and excited that you have a growth mindset and are a constant learner. I truly appreciate you and your entrepreneurial journey. Enjoy the rest of the week and keep thriving with Shopify.